Okay, so we are on section 3.4 today. C period, we got all the way to the very last question. We'll just see how far we can get with you guys. We will probably not finish today though, so we'll just see how much we can get through, and then we'll finish this and get into 3.5 next class. What I want to do to start, and again, the cool thing about this unit, I think you guys have learned a lot of this already, so hopefully this feels like review. But down here at the bottom, I want to make a bit of a box, and we're going to talk about the properties of logs. So just going to make a little box, make a little note off to the side where you think that you have room, and we're going to do properties of logs. 3.4. And I have 3 properties of logs that we care about today. One is if we're adding 2 logs together, one is if we're minusing 2 logs together, and one is if we have a coefficient in front of our logs. And I actually want to start with the coefficient one because that's one that we have already done before. We've already kind of talked about this. So if I have like a number out front, we'll say m log of x. Do you know where that m goes? The exponent. Very good. So m becomes my exponent of x. So I'm going to move it over here. So it becomes log of x raised to the n. So I go from a coefficient, or sorry, yep, I go from a coefficient to an exponent. You remember that, right? Now, there were times that we didn't move it to be the exponent, we just divided, and that's because we had an equal sign. I'm arguing that when we don't have an equal sign, we always want to move it to an exponent, okay? The next thing that we have is if we're adding 2 logs. So if I have log of A plus log of B, do you know how I combine those 2 together to just make 1 log? Multiply, very good, Chase. It becomes log of A times B. And you can use the parentheses or you cannot. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you're careful about all the pieces. And again, in this case, my little shortcut is I was doing addition and then I'm going to make it multiply. Multiplication. And the last one is where we're minusing. So if I have log of A minus log of B, how do I combine that to be 1 single log? Divide, good. So it's going to be log of A over B. Perfect. I love that you guys like kind of already know the lesson I'm teaching each day. We've got subtraction to divide. I would argue that semester 1 of pre-cal is all algebra 2, just kind of like ramped up a little bit faster, maybe a little bit like more things that you talked about last year. And then second semester of pre-cal is all trig. And I can't wait. Trig's my favorite. It's way more fun than this. I think this can be so boring sometimes.
Yeah, I'm coming up with PhD.
I'm just gonna be very honest. Sometimes when I know you guys are bored, I am also bored trying to tell you it. There's only so many ways we can make this interesting, right? Okay, so let's use these properties again. I'm gonna have mine away, so you won't be able to see them. But again, the exponent becomes a the coefficient becomes an exponent, the addition becomes a multiply, and the subtraction becomes a division. Okay, so we're just gonna walk through all of these together. Some will go quick. Some, if we can simplify them, we will. But if we can't simplify them, we'll leave them as is. So this first one, I've got log of x minus log of y. What do I simplify that down to be? Good, log of x over y, perfect. And you can leave it with no parentheses or you can put parentheses there. That either way works for minus divide. Let's jump over to b. Okay, I see 2 things I need to do here. What's one thing? Good, make 2 that exponent. So 2 goes to be the exponent of x. And then what's the other thing I need to do? Good, the addition becomes multiply. So we're going to end with log of what? X squared times y. Okay, we're doing good? All right, let's look at letter C. Again, 2 things I've got here. What do I need to do? Good, do my exponents. 1/3 becomes an exponent. 2/3 becomes an exponent. I'm going to argue we're going to do a little simplifying with that in a second. So I am going to go with 2 steps here. The second thing I want to do, how do I get rid of that plus? Multiply. So I get log of z to the 1/3 times w to the 2/3. And I told you I wanna simplify that one more step. Oh, sorry, deny a question. You, are you gonna tell me what to do?
Yeah, we can make that one next meeting.
Not -3.
Radical.
Radical 3, good. So I'm gonna make it log of the cube root of z and w. Does z get a coefficient still? No, because it would be 1 and we don't have to write 1. Does w get an exponent still? Did I say coefficient last time? I meant exponent.
Yeah.
So technically it would be 1 and 2, but we don't need 1. We're just gonna keep it as a square. Awesome, good job, guys. We doing okay so far? All right, keep it moving. Now this one's gonna be fun because we're gonna be able to simplify this because I have actual numbers. Okay, so let's start. What do I do first? Good. Move them to be exponents. And I'm actually gonna do that before I deal with my dividing, okay? So log of 16 to the 1/2, what is 16 to the 1/2? What was it? 4, good, why is it 4? Good, 16 to the 1/2 is the square root of 16, which is just 4. So I've got log of 4, don't forget that log still carried with us. And then when I do 8 to the 2/3, ooh, I may need to write that one out. That's the same thing as I'm gonna be 2. It'll be 4 again. It's the cube root of 8 squared, and we know 8 squared is 64. And the cube root of 64 is gonna be 4. So it's gonna be minus log 4. Yep, absolutely. You could also do like the cube root of 8 is 2, and then we're doing that twice, so it's 4. Okay, now technically we could do log of 4 minus log of 4, and what would we get? 1. We get 1? No, even simpler than that, guys. 0. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna show you why we get 0. Okay, let me do it out the long way. Okay, so if this doesn't like make sense in your head, let's keep going. If we were to simplify it down, we have that minus, so we're gonna combine them with a division. So I get log of 4 divided by 4. And what is 4 divided by 4? 1. So I get log of 1. Okay. Now we can do log of 1 if we do a log roll. Let's put that equal to x. And let's put a base. What's my base of log? 10. So when I roll this around, I get 10 to the x equals 1. And I ask myself, okay, 10 to what power gives me 1? 0. Well, wasn't that cool? You're like, wow, cool. Okay, moving on. We got one more that we can do some things to because we've got some numbers here as well. What should I do first? Good, exponents. I know we keep feeling like we're saying the same thing, but that is a good thing to always do first. And just like last time, I'm gonna do that and then simplify them before I move on. So 2 to the 3rd, we can do that. What's that gonna be? 8, good. So I've got ln of 8. And then I'm gonna do ln of 36 to the 1/2. Just gonna be 6, good. And then when I combine them together, what does that plus mean that I combine the 8 and the 6 as? Multiply, so 8 times 6 is gonna be 48. And that's actually as good as it gets, because if I log roll it, e to some power equals 48, I don't know what power that is, so. ln of 48 is actually really good. It's a good answer. All right, and then we got one more simple one. What do I do first? Good, do my exponents. Now you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either do x times y and raise that to the 4th, so keep your x and y in parentheses, or you can do x to the 4th and y to the 4th. Do any of you have a preference? No, let's not distribute it first, and then if it helps to distribute, we'll go back and do that later. So I've got log of xy to the 4th. I don't know why I wrote this step, that's kind of silly. And then log of x to the 3rd. You probably skipped this step and immediately went to combining them. How does that minus sign combine them? Divide. So I've got log of xy to the 4th divided by x to the 3rd.
I didn't know. Oh, the minus sign of everything. Why do you need to?
The minus sign do what? Why did not change to -3? Is that what you're saying?
maybe we have to maybe the behavior,
Uh-huh.
would it be 1 over 3 equals minus 1?
Well, the minus would make it a -3 as an exponent, which would then put it in the denominator. I just kept the negative there, because I know that I could divide, but what you're saying is you made it a plus and then you had a -3 here?
No.
No, am I just not getting it? I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, this is very loud and I don't know if press. I have very little control with that, but they're a little quieter. Okay, are we okay with what I have so far?
Yeah, but I have a question.
Yeah.
For the next thing. So wouldn't you distribute the x to the 4 and then you only have 1 x left and then you have 4 y?
So we do wanna distribute that to be x to the 4th and y to the 4th over x to the 3rd. So maybe that first step we could have distributed, I just didn't remember if we had to or not. And then now I can cancel, I've got 4 x's on top and 3 on bottom, so 3 of them go away, so I'm just left with 1. And so my final answer is gonna be log of x, y to the 4th. Now, this time, if you do parentheses, put it all the way on the outside, don't make it look like this, because that makes it look the x's to the 4th and it's not anymore. Awesome, go ahead and flip your paper over. We're gonna go backwards now, so we're doing backwards of what we just did. Is this stuff that you know how to do? Can you maybe, do you need me to walk through you, or do you have it on your own? Let's do the first one, okay. It was being multiplied, how do I separate it? With a plus. So it becomes ln of x plus ln of y.
Oh, I can.
Okay. I'm gonna keep doing them. If you feel good, you just zoom ahead and do them at your own pace, but I'll just keep walking through them. This one I have a divide, so I'm gonna separate it with a minus, and then I have these little exponents, so they're gonna go out front. So I'm gonna go 3 log of x minus 4 log of y. Now, the next couple, it's gonna be really important for you to decide, is that cube root or 5th root over just the x, just the y, or over both of it? It's over both, so they both need 1/5, so I want 1/5 log of x minus 1/5 log of y. Did I go too fast through that 1/5? Are we all good with that cube, that 5th root becomes 1/5? Okay. Just slow me down if I'm going too fast. The next one, though, the 4th root, the quartic root is only over the x. So we're gonna go 1/4 log of x minus log y. The log y does not need a 1/4 with it. Brian,
Can you just move it?
Yep. I'll pause here for a second. If you're feeling good, try those last 2 without me. On those last 2, you can do a little simplifying too. You can do some, you on E or F? E, yeah, just hold tight 1 second. We're good to move on. Okay, here we go on E. What should I do first here? Move my exponent, so the exponent will go with the x, and then am I gonna separate these 2 into a plus or a minus? Plus, so I've got log of 100 plus 2 log of x. Okay, I'm gonna argue that we can simplify this log of 100. If I were to log roll it over here, I can think of it as log of 100 equals x. What would my base be? 10. So when I roll it, 10 raised to the x equals 100. What would x be? 2. So log of 100 would just be 2. And so I've got 2 plus 2 log x. Now I've got a tricky question for you. Can I combine 2 plus 2 and get 4 log x? No, Maggie immediately was like, don't do it. Why can I not do that?
It's not.
They're not like terms, very good. One has a log and one doesn't, so they do not get to be combined together. This is actually as good as it gets. One more like this. All right, let's separate this one. We've got ln of 30 plus 3 ln of e. And then just like last one where we simplified, I'm gonna argue that ln of e we can simplify separately as well. ln e, it's gonna cancel out because it's e raised to the x equals e. When I log roll it around, e to the x equals e, and that just becomes 1. So that's like 3 times 1, which is just 3. ln of 30 plus 3. Now, can I add 30 and 3 together? No, still no, why not? Also still not like terms, okay, good. It's gonna be really tempting to combine and you just can't always combine. Okay, I do wanna teach you one more thing and then we'll do a couple of these next class. That's kind of blow your mind. Can you guys get your calculators out? Now, if you do not see what I see, you're gonna have to do it a different way, but it's not hard. But I want everyone to go to their graphing calculators and I want you to hit math. Are you done? Izzy, just leave it on the corner of your desk. You can get out whatever you want. Got about 5 more minutes before class. So I want you to hit math. And I want you to scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. You're just on the main menu and I want you to go find capital A that says log base. Now, Adrian, you probably won't find it. Sam, do you have it? No. Ronnie, do you have it? Okay, nice. Ronnie, Quinn, you have it, right? Alea has it, okay. I'll come talk to you guys in a second, but if you have log base, we're just gonna press that button and it should give you a cursor to enter a base and then enter a whole number. So I'm gonna put 3 as my base. I put -3 for some reason. And then I'm gonna go to the right arrow, I'm just gonna scroll over and I'm gonna hit 4. And see how it looks exactly like the problem on my paper does? I'm gonna press enter. And I'm gonna get 1.262. It says round to the 10,000, which is 4 places.
I don't know.
You do? Nice. So I'm gonna write, you don't have to write any work, I'm gonna write 1.26. I guess 19 would be the better place to round 4 places. 1.2619. That's it. You maybe do 1 or 2 more. Now, my friends who can't do this, so Sam and Adrian, I know for sure. Oh, you have it? Okay, Adrian, you for sure don't, right? I know you don't. Kate, you don't either, because I was gonna say, no, I've got a couple of really old calculators, and when I was in school, we all had those old calculators. It's not hard, but it's different. When you do it this time, you have to make a fraction. You're gonna say log of the big number on top, and then log of the base on bottom. So we'll say log of 4 and then divided by base, which is 3. And so you just physically type log 4, end your parentheses, divided by log 3, end your parentheses, and you should get the exact same answer we got. So a little bit more tedious, but not hard. So we'll practice doing a few more of these next class, and then we've got a couple word problems, so we're a tiny bit behind C, but we'll catch up. Since we didn't finish 3.4, you do not have 3.4 homework. So no homework tonight.